You're so thin. You eat it. È buono.
Hi, and welcome to Screen Cuisine. Today we're going to make cannoli siciliani. Hey, we just saw The Godfather Part 3, and they made some cannolis there. Now, those cannolis were laced with, well, a poison, so they weren't any good. But the ones we're going to make today are straight up. Now, these are great. Authentic Italian dessert, something that I remember Mom making all the time, so I'm going to share with you Mom's recipe. And hopefully, Mom, when you're watching, don't get mad at me, okay? Here it is. Here's as close. Hopefully, I'll get it as close as I can to the real thing. You start with 1 full container of ricotta cheese. Now, please don't say ricotta. Don't go to your store and ask for ricotta. That'll just insult every Italian. So just pour this into a bowl. Then we have ½ cup of sugar. All right, just pour a ½ cup of white sugar on top. Next, add a ½ teaspoon of cinnamon. ½ teaspoon of cinnamon goes into this lovely mixture. Now, some liqueur. This is a tablespoon of Frangelico liqueur. Now, you can add more if you want, but don't add too much more because it'll make the mix a little too watery. And it's important that you don't make the mix watery. Okay, so a tablespoon of Frangelico liqueur. Into the mix it goes. Doesn't it smell good? And this is grated semi-sweet chocolate. Now, we've grated it all up in a blender so it's nice and powdery, and that gets poured in. Okay, now that you've got all this mixed together, you just stir and sing. Come gentile la notte menza aprile azzurra. We don't have time for all that song, so here we go. By the time you've sung a song like that, though, you will have finished making your mix. And your mix will look a lot like this, right? All of the ingredients combined, and it makes a nice little paste. Now that you have the filling, you need the shell. Now, the shell is very difficult to make, so don't bother trying at home. Make sure you go to an Italian store and pick up these things. These are cannoli shells. They're a lot smaller than what we saw in The Godfather 3, but that's okay. You can only eat a little bit of these things at a time anyway. In a pinch, if you can't get to an Italian store, go to the baker's and ask them for cream horn shells. Now, these are a lot bigger, obviously, and there'll be a lot more in there, so, well, maybe they're not so good for your diet. So stick to the little ones. Now, what you do with this filling is you take the little cannoli shell, and you just take a spoon, and this is the tedious part. You have to fill it a little neater than what I've done here. Fill it on this end, then twist it around, and fill it on the other end. And just pack it in there, nice and tight. And once those are filled, now I've got some almonds that I've baked and crushed up with a rolling pin. And just dip the ends of these in the almonds. Doesn't this look good? Look, smell. Doesn't it smell good? Yeah, it really does smell good. So I've got a whole bunch here that I've already made, and they're ready to go. Now, it's important that you keep these refrigerated, right? Because the ricotta cheese in them will go bad if you leave them out for a long time. When you're finished, I've got some icing sugar just over here in a little sifter, and you just sort of sprinkle it on. There you go. It looks lovely. Perfect. And there you have it. A nice Italian treat, perfect for Christmas. And hey, with Christmas coming up, you may want to remember this recipe. So there you go. Buon appetito. Mind you, this is at the end of the meal, so not buon appetito. But enjoy anyway. And that's it for this edition of Screen Cuisine.